welcoming to the show today Mr. John Voigt, a friend of mine. And the show is, of course, titled Entrepreneurs, Business, and Finance. And John is an entrepreneur. Good afternoon, maybe evening, John. How are you?
Hey, good afternoon. How you doing, Henry?
So, fine, fine. So, we met because John is a remodeler. He has a family business, and they actually remodeled our home. And we were very pleased and excited about how it went for us. And so I thought he would be an interesting person to have on the show to talk about design and the business of remodeling and his family business. So why don't I just start with a basic question of how did you become a remodeler?
Wow, that's a loaded question, Henry. Well, it's really funny. I always had an interest in kind of doing things around the house, and grew up in a family where you were required to participate in any activity that my dad decided he was going to do at home, as far as fixing things and putting things together, and remodeling anything he could do in the house. And I was required to assist him. So, but that's not where I went when I grew up. I actually grew up to be a commercial artist, which I did for 27 years. And one day while I was walking through Home Depot, and I saw this young woman designing a kitchen with a software program. And I said, wow, that looks really interesting. I said, can I sit down and watch you? And she said, sure. And about 30 minutes later, I decided, hey, I think I could do that, and decided to teach myself how to become a kitchen and bath designer. And henceforth, that led me into the remodeling field.
Yeah, it's so interesting that you say that. Teach yourself, because the last guy we had on the show does a lot of oil and gas analysis, and his background was AutoCAD training. So he knew a lot about design, number one. So we had just enough computer skills and understanding of that his brother-in-law got him into oil and gas. But the key point was he taught himself. And I think that's true with so many entrepreneurs and people that start their business. They have a passion or an interest for something, and people that work in companies and all sorts of professions, lawyers, doctors, but they have a passion for something and they pursue it. But it's nice when you hear someone talk about what they like to do, and then they went ahead and did it. My dad used to always say, "Find something you like to do." Um,
Well,
I,
it's funny. We all go to school, and we think we've found our path, or we've decided we're going to pursue a certain area of interest in life. And the older you get, the more you realize that things change, and you're driven in different directions, out of sometimes need and necessity, but also out of interest. So, and that's pretty much what happened to me. And not that I didn't like being a commercial artist, but I'd kind of grown tired of it and wanted to do something else. So henceforth, my computer graphics skills kind of were easily transferred into the kitchen and bath business, because that's how all the design is done today, with software.
and as I recall, because I know some of the story, you actually went to work for another company, doing that for years, and in many respects running part of the company. And then you had a chance to step out on your own, and you took the leap. That
Well,
kind of,
sorry. Yeah, it was I really felt I had to cut my teeth learning from other professionals in the industry before I started my own business. And I really think that's a good way to go. I think it's very difficult to just launch yourself into something without having mentors and or teachers. And the people that I went to work for initially were very skilled and respected professionals in the industry, and I learned a lot from them. And I spent about 8 to 10 years doing that before I started my own business.
and you often refer to your business as a family business, and I know that your family is involved. How is your family involved, or at least some of your family?
Well, it's funny. I started off by myself, and a few years into it, my wife came to me and said, I think that's a pretty interesting business. I'd like to do that too. And I said to her, I said, well, hon, I said, if you can figure out a way to replace your salary and you can prove that to me over the next 6 months, I said, you can join the firm. And she did that, and we've never looked back. But another interesting thing was my adult son decided he was going to be a marketing professional, and he's an entrepreneur himself, and he taught himself the art of internet marketing. And he joined the company, and he basically created programs for us to get all of our leads, which he then in turn turns over to my wife, who calls all the leads up and qualifies them, and then sets up appointments, goes out and talks to the folks, and if they qualify, then they get to talk to me, and I go out and meet with them and measure and come back, design a kitchen, and then we both go back out and try to sell it to them.
Well, I know when I met you, I was impressed because you had that ability to design and to build. And I could tell that you were very good at designing. And I thought that is the perfect combination, and not one that you can always find. I talked to another remodeler, and they expect you to go hire some sort of architect or designer on your own. And one of my past businesses was a home building business, and we always had problems because one thing to draw something, it's another thing to build it after it's been drawn. And sometimes what's drawn can't be built. And so we felt much better when we had someone that we could work with closely that we knew on our own. Sometimes it was a challenge when they bought their own architect, although there's many good architects, and sometimes that worked out wonderfully. There were all frequently problems. So I just think that's a great attribute of your company. And I know that you're owner of the business, and you have a lot of different contractors that work for you. Um, but I also noted there are a couple instances, and I don't think you want to make a habit of it, but where we bought an especially complicated sink and faucet, and something wasn't quite right, and you sent the plumber out twice, and he couldn't get it quite right, and he said, I just need to come fix this myself. So you came in and sat down on the floor and reached under the sink, and I don't know, 10 or 15 minutes later, it was fixed, and we never had another problem. So it does help to know a lot about how things are built, even though you're hiring other people to do it. Um, and I think it's
Yes,
so.
I would say that sometimes things like that do happen, and you really have to be able to analyze a situation with regards to almost anything you're doing. And sometimes two heads are better than one. Hey, a lot of times I'll consult with the plumbers, the framers, and things like that, and we talk things out. And sometimes you need a creative solution to get things resolved. And I feel that as the owner of the business, that is my job, to be that creative person, whether it's designing or coming up with production solutions out in the field.
Well, you're in a good market. It's always competitive in our country. I think whatever business you're in, but fortunately, the DFW market, Dallas Fort Worth, is growing, and so you seem to have had a steady. Uh, Boy, how many remodeling jobs have you done? Has it been 6 years now that you've been on your own?
Oh my, yeah. No, it's been closer to 10.
10. My
Yeah,
gosh! So
yeah.
I'll bet you've done well over 100, probably hundreds of jobs by now. So whatever you didn't know in the first job, you did, by now.
Yeah, I'd have to say that we've probably done closer to 200 projects over that course of time.
100 projects. And I know some of them can be quite large, all the way up to $1 million, and some can be a bathroom remodel for, somewhat less than 100,000. So it's quite a range depending on what the homeowner is looking for.
Boy, that's true. But it's funny. It really doesn't matter what the cost of the project is, or because with regards to what's involved with the project, there's just most of the projects all have the same ingredients. It's just the higher the cost, the more of those ingredients are involved.
Well, and I just remember that you helped us pick everything, and Olga, my wife, the colors, the design, and we love it. So we've had a couple of people come look at our house that you were in the neighborhood, and we're going to have a job done and wanted to see the work done. So I just can't recommend you enough. And I think you enjoy your work. You get up every day, it seems to me. And coming from a construction background, I know there's a lot of aggravating times when things don't go well. But but I also can see that you like designing and you like seeing the results when they're done. Would you say it's gratifying? At the end of the day, most of the time, you feel like you got something done?
I would say that. I think it's a fun industry, and you get to meet a lot of great people like yourself. And you and I have become friends over the years, and I think we realize that you know, hey, we're all human, and you know, everybody has their ups and downs and ins and outs. But when it comes down to it, I really do enjoy what I'm doing.
I have seen you hit a drive on the golf course well over 300 yards. And I think one time on a downhill one, it might have even rolled to 350 yards. So uh,
That
that's
was a
been
lot.
fun.
I remember we found your ball at about 300, and you were just swearing to me that it had to go in the lake. And you know, we got down there, we looked near the lake, and we were both, you know, just puzzled. Where could that ball possibly have gone? And there it was, laying down in the middle of the fairway, about 50 yards past yours, and we were astounded. But you know, hey, the wind was behind me, and we were on a downhill.
Well, thanks for sharing your passion about your business and your family, and Happy New Year. And I will be talking to you soon.
Well, fantastic. Hey, thanks for the call.
Yeah,
Anytime.
bye.
Bye.
Everybody, John Voigt, business, entrepreneurs, and finance. Actually, I usually say entrepreneurs, business, and finance.